What happens when emotions are magnified in every moment, when small gestures pierce the heart and subtle words linger for days, and feeling deeply becomes both a gift and a burden? Some people experience life with extra intensity. They don't just feel emotions, they absorb them completely. A beautiful sunset might bring tears. A friend's disappointment feels personal. This isn't weakness. It isn't drama. It's a different way of processing the world. Psychologists call it heightened emotional awareness or emotional sensitivity. These individuals have nervous systems wired to notice what others miss. A shift in tone, a subtle expression, a change in energy in a room. They feel it, they register it, they carry it. And while this brings challenges, it also brings depth. Understanding this trait is the first step toward embracing it. Deep feelers don't experience emotions halfway. When they feel joy, it's powerful, almost overwhelming. When they feel sadness, it feels heavy, consuming. Fear doesn't whisper, it speaks loudly, clearly. This intensity exists across every emotion. A kind word can stay with them for days. A harsh one can linger for months. Excitement feels electric. Disappointment cuts deeper than expected. This isn't instability, it's intensity. Their emotions aren't more frequent, they're simply stronger. As if every feeling is turned up. Living this way requires more energy, more awareness, more regulation, because everything is felt more deeply. The world itself can feel overwhelming. Crowds, noise, movement, too much at once. They absorb not only their own emotions, but the emotions of others. Lights feel brighter, sounds feel sharper, smells feel stronger. Their senses are constantly engaged, processing more than most people notice. This leads to exhaustion, faster, more frequently. A simple outing can feel draining. A normal day can feel overwhelming. Not because they are weak, but because they are taking in more. Rest is not optional. It's necessary. Emotional depth often begins early. Sensitive children notice everything. Tension in the room, unspoken conflict, subtle changes in mood. Some grow up feeling responsible for how others feel. Others live in environments where awareness becomes survival. Watching carefully, adapting constantly. Some have emotionally distant caregivers and learn to read small signals to understand what's happening. These early experiences shape how they process emotion. The patterns stay and become part of how they experience life. Deep feelers crave connection, real connection, but they also fear it. They want to be understood, but worry about being too much. In relationships, they give fully, they invest deeply, which makes rejection feel intense. They notice distance before it's visible. They read between the lines. And sometimes, they assume the worst. They analyze messages, tone, timing, meaning. Their vulnerability feels exposed, and that makes trust difficult. They don't want shallow relationships, but deep ones require safety, and learning that balance is not easy. Their minds rarely stop. They replay conversations, analyze details, predict outcomes. A simple interaction can be revisited for hours. Did they say something wrong? Did something feel off? Their thoughts loop constantly, looking for meaning, looking for certainty. This isn't a choice. It's automatic. Their brain tries to understand everything, control everything, prevent everything. But this creates fatigue, mental exhaustion. Sleep becomes difficult. Decisions feel heavy because every option is explored. This is not weakness. It's too much awareness, too much analysis, applied to emotion. To cope, they adapt. Some withdraw, not out of rejection, but out of need. They need space, silence, time to process. Others create art, writing, music. They express what they cannot say. Some build routines. Structure brings stability. Movement helps. Nature helps. Quiet helps. But not all coping is healthy. Some avoid feelings completely, through distraction, through overworking, through numbing. Some become people pleasers, putting others first, to avoid conflict. Learning which strategies help and which harm becomes essential. Their empathy is powerful. They don't just understand others, they feel them. A friend's pain becomes their own. Joy spreads quickly. They celebrate others deeply. They listen. They care. They support. But this comes with a cost. They absorb stress, carry emotional weight that isn't theirs. Someone else's mood can affect their entire day. They struggle with suffering around them. Stories stay with them. Feelings linger. Empathy becomes both strength and vulnerability. And learning to protect it is necessary. Over time, this intensity can lead to burnout. Feeling too much for too long becomes exhausting. The body feels it. Headaches, fatigue, tension. The mind feels it. Overwhelm, disconnection. Some begin to shut down, to feel less. As protection, others withdraw. To avoid more input. Without balance, this depth becomes heavy, draining, and life loses its color. Recognizing this early matters. Rest matters. Recovery matters. Because without it, the system depletes. But there is another path. Thriving doesn't mean changing who they are. It means accepting it, working with it, not against it. Setting boundaries, choosing environments carefully, limiting exposure to what drains them, allowing space to recover, letting go of guilt for needing rest. They begin to see the gifts in their depth. Creativity, insight, connection, appreciation for beauty. They learn to feel without being overwhelmed, to care without losing themselves. Growth happens when they stop resisting and start understanding. They are not too much. They are not broken. They are different. And in that difference, there is something rare, a way of experiencing life that is rich, real, and deeply human.